Hey guys, Welsknight here, and welcome to a brand new game. This is Gwent, and you may be wondering, what in the world is Gwent? Well, this video is going to tell you. This video is going to serve as a introduction to this game, and later videos in this series will actually play it a lot more and play some online stuff, do all sorts of fun stuff. I've been playing a little bit, and it's really fun. It's really enjoyable. I like it a lot. So, what is Gwent? At its core, Gwent is essentially an online card game made by CD PROJEKT RED, who are the developers behind the Witcher series. And Gwent, in fact, actually comes from The Witcher 3. In The Witcher 3, which is a fantastic RPG, there is a minigame within it called Gwent, which is basically a card game. And it was so popular that CD PROJEKT RED decided to make it its own game. So here it is. We are in closed beta right now. I got an invitation from CD PROJEKT RED to join the closed beta because they're awesome. So bear that in mind. Everything you see here is subject to change. This is still in development. But essentially, it's got some really cool mechanics to it. It has some very cool mechanics to it. And I think if you like games like Hearthstone, Yu-Gi-Oh!, Magic the Gathering, any of those kind of things, I think you will greatly enjoy Gwent. It's a very fun game, and I've been liking it a lot. So let's kind of get into some of the mechanics of it, and then from there, we'll go ahead and play a couple games and all that kind of stuff. So first and foremost, there is a tutorial that you can play through, which I'm not going to do because you guys, I can explain it faster and more efficiently than the tutorial does. So basically, let's jump into, well, let's talk about the menu real quick. You got your casual match, which is basically playing online against other players. You got a friend match, which is to play against a specific friend. The closed beta is hosted on GOG, not on Steam. Practice plays against the AI, and then there's the tutorial itself. Over here, you got your cards, where you can see all the cards that you own. Ta-da! All the cards that you own. And then you can also build decks. And there are some limitations that you have when you are building a deck. So a deck can have a maximum of 40 cards and must have at least 25 cards in it. You can have as many bronze cards as you want. You can have 6 silver cards and 4 gold cards, and you cannot have any more than 1 of either a silver or gold card. So I couldn't have two Geralt cards, for example, because he's a gold card. Bronze cards, you can have up to 3 of the same card in the deck. And that is basically the gist of it. Now, you're going to have 3 rows. You'll have your melee row, your ranged row, and then your siege weapon row in the back. And we'll get into some of those more specific mechanics in more detail later on, but basically that's where you play your heroes and monsters and creatures and stuff. And then you've also got special cards as well. Now, what kind of separates Gwent from other card games is that rather than trying to play powerful monsters to attack your opponent, you are essentially trying to build up a higher score in each round than your opponent, and it's a best out of 3. And because of the way that, like, the draw mechanics work and some of that kind of stuff, there's actually a lot of strategy that goes into it, and it seems like very often there's very little RNG that just kind of gets you. There is also a shop where you can buy cards using your winnings from matches or using real money. We'll open a couple of those in this video just so I can kind of show you how that works. And that's pretty much it. So let's go ahead and dive into a match just against the AI for now. I'm going to use this custom deck I've built called From Weakness Strength. There are 4 races that kind of come with that you start out with. You get a starter deck for 4 races. The Northern Realms, the Monsters, the Scoia'tael, and the Skellige. And then you can build your own custom decks as well. Basic Weather is one that I built, and then this From Weakness Strength deck. There's also another race that is, I believe, going to be added relatively soon, but we have not gotten to that yet. So, as I said, this is a closed beta, and it is very much subject to change. So, when you first start off the match, okay, so we are playing against those guys. Fantastic. You will each get you'll have a leader card for your deck, which you pick. And then at the very beginning, you'll actually be able to redraw 3 of the cards in your hand. So let's just take a look. I don't need that one. I don't particularly need... Let's see, I do have this. I don't really need that Scorch right now, and I don't need the Field Medic either. Okay. Not...
A moment. I need to smoke.
Not the best hand in the world, but it'll do. So basically, the idea of this particular deck is to essentially power up my critters, power up all my cards, and then carry it over into the next round, because your leader will have a unique ability. So mine has the ability to take any bronze card. Bronze are like your commons, silvers are like your rares, and then golds are like your ultra rares, to put it in simple terms. My leader's ability lets me spawn a copy of any bronze card on my side of the field. My opponent, theirs allows them to play a silver card from their deck. You can lay 1 card per turn, whether it's a monster card, special card, it doesn't matter. So why don't we lay... let's lay this guy, and let's turn this card into a silver. Let's see, so then that got powered down a little bit. That's okay. And then we will play this card right here, and I'm going to remove the power. And you can see over here, we've got our scores. So I'm at 10 right now, my opponent's at 16, which means I am currently losing, but that's okay. That's fine. Let's lay this guy. Blue Stripes Commando. And my goal, as I said, is essentially just going to be to power up my units. And then carry it over to the next round so that I can win 2 out of 3 rounds in a row. The goal is essentially to make my opponent pass, because you only get to draw cards between rounds. You don't draw a card every turn, and you don't really draw that many cards. I think you only draw 2 cards between rounds, so it's not, or something like that. We'll see in a second. Let's see. So I'm still losing. Let's lay this card, and we will power up these. Oh, I should actually let him up there. Oops, misplay on my part, but that's okay. So we're just going to keep laying these cards down. I'm powering this Blue Stripes Commando up significantly. And he, I think, just laid a card that, yeah, this Lacerate actually weakens all of those units. That's fine. So then we're going to go add 8 strength to him. Then we'll give Adrenaline Rush, which means he'll carry over. That's what that little symbol down here means. It means he'll carry over to the next round. And then I will spawn an exact copy using my leader. So now I'm up to 72. My opponent is at 54, so I win the round. And because of that kind of synergy between those cards, I start with 65. So he's going to have some catching up to do. I draw 2 cards. Not a whole lot, but it's something at least. I can play Adrenaline Rush again. So I'll carry this guy over into a 3rd round if I do lose this one. And then Thunderbolt Potion will power both of these guys up. And then we're both out of cards, so I win the 2nd round there. So there's kind of this interesting mechanic where you have to kind of think of all 3 rounds. You don't necessarily always want to go all out in the very first round, because then you might be kind of left hanging in later rounds there, as my opponent was. He kind of went all out and lost the first round, and then he didn't have anything left to deal with the 2nd and 3rd rounds. So there's kind of a strategic element in that way. And as you kind of play through the game and progress, you'll unlock better cards and certain rewards and all sorts of things like that. So let's actually take a look at that real quick. I've got some of these kegs. These are like your card packs, I guess, that you would buy. And you earn a few different things. You earn some resources. We'll get to that in a sec. So let's open one of these card kegs. We'll show you how this works. I actually really like the way that Gwent does this. So when you open a case, or a keg, or a pack, or whatever you want to call it, you get 4 cards. which are all, you know, kind of your basic cards, your common cards. You might get a silver in here. But then, for your 5th card, you actually get to choose from 3 cards, which is awesome. So you can look at this and go, okay, which of these is going to be the most useful for my deck that I'm using, that I'm building? So we could go... This guy would actually fit, she would actually fit in very well with the deck because I'm using all the Blue Stripes commandos. And this guy would also be very useful as well because as a brown card on the side, I can use this in any deck. So either of these two would be really good, actually. I think I'll go with Vess. Probably a better idea. And let's open one more together. Why not? We'll give it a go. So now I do not... don't take this as me condoning gambling. Don't take this as me advocating spending tons of money on card packs or anything like that. I just want to show you kind of how this works. So I got a couple things there. Nothing too great that I didn't already have. And then here we go. Let's see. Spawn a base copy of the last non-gold special card played. That... Well, but that's not for a faction I ever use. I think we'll go with the one that resurrects a non-gold unit. That could be useful. There we go. So you guys kind of see how that works. Now, as you play games, you will earn scrap, which is this kind of gold stuff. And 100 scrap will buy you a card keg. Now, you only actually get it for winning. You don't get it for... If you lose, you get nothing, other than if your opponent sends you good game, which basically gives you 5. However, there's also a... Let's see. Gotta remember how to get back into it. Options... Collection. It might be under collection. There's a way to craft cards. Yeah, here we go. In your collection, you can look, and you can actually craft cards using this stuff. So, because of the limitations of how many cards of a certain type you can have in a deck, you will end up with cards that really you have no need for. So you can mill those, and that will give you 40 scraps, which you can then craft into new cards. So right now I have 205. I could find a card in here I want that costs 200. Like, say I wanted this one, Frost and Fog. That could be a very useful card to have. I could spend 200 and use that. And that may actually be a really good card for my weather deck that I'm building. So, sure, we'll go ahead and we'll craft that. And then there you go. I now have this White Frost card. And you can kind of make use of even those useless cards that you get from the kegs by doing it that way. So that's kind of how that works. We're divided into different factions. Brown cards with a brown flag over here can be played in any deck, regardless of your faction. Otherwise, your cards are limited to the specific faction deck you're playing. Every faction, I believe, has 3 leader cards. Who all have different abilities, and then you'll have a number of other cards as well. Now, since it is still in development, we're in a closed beta, I would expect more cards to be added to the game by the time the game launches. I would be very surprised if the relatively limited number of cards that are in the game right now are all we get. I think there'll be a lot more than that as time goes on. But overall, I think it's really fun. I'm really enjoying this game. I think it's a good... kind of, I don't know, it's just a lot of fun, and it's, as I said, I like the way that Gwent kind of sets itself apart from other card games that are kind of in the same vein. Some of the kind of unique things it does, I like the synergy between a lot of things and the way that they approach certain things, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun. But I don't want to have this kind of introductory video be too long, so I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up right here, guys. If you enjoyed this video and if you're looking forward to more Gwent, please let me know. Don't forget to like, subscribe, leave me a comment. I do appreciate it, and it really helps out my channel. You can also find me on Facebook, Twitter, and Twitch. There are links in the video description below, so check that out as well. Otherwise, guys, thanks for watching, and I'll definitely see you next time.